Namaste, a very good morning to all of you. Very good afternoon to all of you. It is with great pleasure that I stand before you today at the DNPA Conclave and Awards 2024. I extend my heartfelt congratulations to the organizers for their commendable efforts in bringing together this distinguished gathering, especially for recognizing and honoring excellence. I would also like to thank the jury members for their contribution. Friends, the past decade has seen an unparalleled surge in technology and digital media, profoundly impacting every facet of our lives. We, the innovators of this era, have borne witness to the most significant technological advancement in human history. From the inception of the World Wide Web to the proliferation of mobile phones, our journey through the 20th century to the 21st century has been nothing short of revolutionary. Today we have transitioned from waiting months for a SIM card to the era of eSIMs and from the keypad phones to the touch screens. Today we have seen a lot of changes in the digital media as well. I'll come to that on the later part of my speech. We have also seen the birth of computers evolve into laptops and tablets, and the analog world gradually morph into the digital realm. Today we have a leader who is not just tech savvy but also tech evangelist. Today we can proudly say that our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji champions the potential of technology to empower citizens and propel the nation forward. His association with technology transcends mere awareness and it's a driving force behind the vision of Viksit Bharat at the 2047. His flagship initiatives, Digital India, aims to bridge the digital divide and harness technology across sectors, from eNAM, the e-National Agriculture Marketplace, connecting farmers directly to the JAM Trinity, connected directly to the markets, and the JAM Trinity, the Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile Trinity, providing financial inclusion and the upliftment of the common man. This government has implemented game-changing programs. I have seen Prime Minister Modi in the early 90s when he was our party general secretary, and he was also before that in charge of Himachal Pradesh from the state I come. At that time he used to learn how to use the computer, and one of the earlier interviews done by my colleague in the parliament, Modi ji talked about the technology at that time also. While becoming Chief Minister and our Prime Minister, he has made the best use of technology. I can talk about some of the schemes, initiatives being awarded like Mission Karmyogi, UPI Green to Ayushman Bharat Digital, Ocean Tracker app to the Bhuvan Umang single window interface. If you look at the Mission Karmyogi, we have about 30 lakh Karmyogis on board on the iPod platform. 885 courses and 1,647 content hours available. As far as the UPI Green is concerned, across the world, if you look at the digital payments, 46% of the world payments, the digital payments are done in India on the UPI platform. The total digital payment transactions volume increased from 2,071 crore in 2017-18 to 13,462 crore in the financial year 2022-2023. The digital payment transaction reached about 12,000 crore. This is the number of transactions. I'm not talking about the money or the value of the transaction. The second is the Ayushman Bharat Digital. The total Ayushman Bharat health cards across the country is about 54 crore, and the health records are linked with that. Ocean Tracker app also for to keep to take the children out of the clutches of the malnutrition. This is actually helping on the ground. And the Poshan Tractor application was rolled out on the 1st March 2021. Around 30.97 lakh, 30.97 lakh Anganwadi Kendra centers have started using the ICT application. Close to 11 lakh smartphones have been provided to the Anganwadi workers. Apart than that, more than 4 lakh Poshan Vatikas have been developed and lot of work has been done in this area. As far as the geospatial data is concerned, our Bhuvan app is working. Umang is another area where on this mobile app, various government services are available on single platform. Currently, 1,882 plus services of the 207 departments are available on Umang. Total registration is about 6 crore. The single window interface, which is very important for the industry, for the ease of doing business, is also being there. So today, India being one of the youngest nation in the world, I talk about the average age of the population, and we are going to remain so in the coming decades also. The power of positive sentiment and merit of opportunities being provided by the Modi government is such that today India is able to provide the most innovative solutions to the complex problems of the world. अगर आपसे कुछ वर्ष पहले की बात करूं तो शायद आपको अपने महत्वपूर्ण डॉक्यूमेंट हो या अपना ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस हो, आई कार्ड हो, पहचान पत्र से लेकर अन्य भी अपने साथ ही लेकर चलने पड़ते थे, लेकिन आज डिजी लॉकर में आपको सब कुछ अवेलेबल है, आप उसका लाभ उठा सकते हैं। इसी तरह से ही हमारे देश में बैंक के नेशनलाइजेशन की तो बहुत सारी बातें हुई, लेकिन बैंक के खाते नहीं खुल पाते थे। आज 50 करोड़ गरीबों के भी बैंक के खाते खुले, जो बैंक के अधिकारी ही कहते थे कि बैंक खाता वाइबल नहीं होगा जीरो बैलेंस के साथ। आज 2 लाख करोड़ रुपया उसके अंदर जमा है, और वही जो बैंक से कभी दूर रहते थे आज करोड़ों रुपए की ट्रांजैक्शन सालाना इनके माध्यम से, यूपीआई के माध्यम से हो रही है। मोदी जी जब प्रधानमंत्री बने तब ये भी एक समस्या थी कि उससे पहले कहा गया था कि हम 1 रुपया यहां से भेजते हैं, 15 रुपया नीचे तक 15 पैसे नीचे तक पहुंचते हैं। So that means only 15% was reaching on at the grassroots level. Today, we can say that if we have transferred 34 lakh crore rupees as a direct beneficiaries transferred, each and every penny has reached the bank accounts of the beneficiary. साइकिल करने वालों को हमने हटा दिया है, खाने वालों को हटा दिया, खातों में सीधा पैसा पहुंचता है। यही नहीं, अनेकों ऐसी योजनाएं जिसके बारे में मैं चर्चा कर सकता हूं, लेकिन मैं उससे आगे थोड़ा बढ़ूंगा, क्योंकि ये भी आता था कि एक हमारे फॉर्मर फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर है, while speaking in the राज्यसभा he said, Modi ji, how can you claim that if anyone goes to a shop and he has to buy something worth rupees 7 rupees 50 paisa, how will he do the transaction? He won't have internet, he won't have a smartphone, and what kind of technology will be used? जितने प्रश्न चिन्ह उस समय लगे थे उसका जवाब आज सबको मिलता है। अब जब फ्रांस के राष्ट्रपति भी आते हैं, चाय भी पीते हैं, तो उसकी भी डिजिटल पेमेंट मोबाइल फोन के माध्यम से की जाती है। जर्मनी के इंडस्ट्री मिनिस्टर आते हैं तो सब्जी भाजी खरीदने के लिए भी कैसे पेमेंट की जा सकती है, दुनिया आज इसको अडॉप्ट कर रही है। आज यूपीआई हो या रुपए कार्ड हो, आज हमारी बड़ी ताकत इस दिशा में है। मैं सारी भूमिका आपको इसलिए बांध के बता रहा हूं कि कैसे टेक्नोलॉजी ने हम सबके जीवन में एक नहीं अनेक क्षेत्रों में बहुत बड़ा बदलाव लेकर आया है, बहुत बड़ा प्रभाव भी डाला है और जीवन सफल और सरल भी किया है। आज इसी साल शुरुआत में जनवरी महीने में ओबराइज में एक फंक्शन था, मेट वन ऑफ द सीईओज ऑफ अ वेरी large multinational company, one of the top companies in the world. While he took out a paper and showed his COVID certificate to me that this is vaccine certificate. He still have to carry a vaccine certificate with him as a hard copy rather than a soft copy. Whereas in India, we have earlier the Arogya Setu app, then the COVID app, where we have provided the digital certificates and also the information online. So things are changing fast. We have leapfrogged. People have moved from the coin to the paper currency, then to the plastic card currency, then the digital payment, whereas we have leapfrogged from the paper currency to the digital payments. And I think this is a time for the media world also to look at what are the opportunities available in front of us. My dear friends, India, that is Bharat, has a rich tradition that is carried forward through the mediums of debates and discussions. For thousands of years, we have had healthy debate, healthy criticism, and right reason or right reasoning as a part of the social system. We have had open and healthy discussions on every topic which is relevant. This has been the tradition of India which we have strengthened. I could see a lot of media houses present here who have come from the background of print to the electronic media, not to the digital media. As democracy has flourished in our great nation, so has the media. Free speech in India is a commitment of its robust institutions today. In the past few days, in the past few years, a large section of the media has adopted campaigns related to the national and social interest, and its positive effect is being felt by the country today. The way our journalist colleagues worked like Karam yogis during the COVID-19 pandemic, I can vouch for them. Their commitment towards the cause, when most of us were sitting in the closed walls of our house, our media persons were on the field reporting every minute and keeping us, informed, well informed. Today, if the life of the village and the poor of the country is getting better with the Swachh Bharat campaign, then the credit of this transformation also goes to an extent to the media people for creating awareness. If today India is a world leader in the terms of digital payments, some credit also goes to the media for creating awareness among the masses to use the digital payment system. However, as with all things that expand with speed, the expansion of media in India also merits a cautionary note. There are some points I would like to make. Much of the media governance structure is self-regulatory. For the print, we have the Press Council of India. For the other digital platforms, there are two such bodies which are self-regulatory. Also for the digital media, for the OTT platforms, we have the self-regulation available. But self-regulation does not mean the license to err and err intentionally. That would erode the media credibility. We may have left the pandemic behind us, but penetrating infodemic seems here to stay. It is for the media to reflect and also self-introspect on how to immunize itself from the virus of infodemic, which continues to inflict disinformation on societies across geographies. Democracies around the world are seized of this problem. The challenges lies in disabling disinformation. While during the COVID-19 pandemic, I was attending one of the UN conference on media. Majority of the country representative talked about the disinformation or the infodemic. So I think I will say with a caution that we really need to look into this. A related concern is that of paid news and fake news. Clickbait journalism contributes nothing to media credibility, and it contributes even less to the nation building. Media has to reoccupy the space of responsible, fair and balanced journalism. The advent of new technologies present a unique opportunity to break barriers. However, there lurks a growing danger of digital colonialism on platforms run by algorithms coded offshore behind the walls of transparency. We must remain cautious not to accept anything and everything in the name of innovation and modernity. We embrace artificial intelligence. We must educate our youth, especially, on its potential for good, while cautioning against its misuse such as deep fakes and forgery. Friends, today there are some media houses, whether foreign or the local, These media organizations in India which are working with anti-India bias, you could see that through the reporting. With this wrong sentiment, they come up with some fabricated reports which has no scientific basis. They have created such a nexus that even when questioned by the agencies for their wrongdoings, which is against the law of the land, they shout and tell the world that there is threat to the media in the country. They want to cover up their wrongdoings in the name of media. As per the law of the land, it should treat every institution and individual equally as per the law of the land. You should not cover up just for being in the media industry for your wrongdoings. And this is why they must be identified and called out. Freedom of speech and freedom of press, for which my party, Bharatiya Janata Party, and during that time Jan Sangh has fought during the emergency time also. We always stood for the freedom of media and we will always stand for the freedom of media. There is autonomy, there is freedom, and it should exist for the coming years also. In some of the foreign media houses, many of them who work are Indians or from the Indian region. Despite being well the factual positions, they don't report facts, but the story looks biased. And these are, nothing should be the detrimental to the country. देश का नुकसान नहीं होना चाहिए और आपका काम खबर पहुंचाने का है, खबर बनाने का नहीं है। मुझे लगता है भारत का मीडिया बहुत अच्छी तरह वास्तविकताएं समझता भी है, एक बहुत जिम्मेदारी के साथ रिपोर्टिंग करता भी है, लेकिन आज उसकी जिम्मेदारी केवल भारत के बाउंड्रीज के अंदर ही रिपोर्टिंग करने की नहीं है। आज डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म्स के माध्यम से आप भारत के बढ़ते कदमों को, भारत की कला, संस्कृति, साहित्य, परंपराओं को, या भारत में जो भी अच्छा हो रहा है या भारत से जुड़ा हुआ कुछ भी है, वो केवल देश नहीं दुनिया तक आप पहुंचा सकते हो, क्योंकि इसमें टेरेस्ट्रियल कुछ भी नहीं है। आप इसमें कहीं तक भी अपनी बात को पहुंचा सकते हो। डिफरेंस ऑफ ओपिनियन हो सकता है, लेकिन वो फेयर रिपोर्टिंग तक जाना चाहिए, ना कि फेक न्यूज बनाकर कुछ लोग जो काम करते हैं वो नहीं होना चाहिए। The media of the country should think that how to occupy a large space in India and overseas. If India's presence is growing in each and every sector, not locally but globally also, from the time of yoga being, unanimously adopted the resolution on the yoga day. After that, one after another, such global alliances have been taken place only due to the leadership of India. If you look at the International Solar Alliance, Global Biofuel Alliance, India, UAE to EU Economic Corridor during the G20 G20 summit, it clearly shows the growing presence of India. Not only that, but if you look at the FDI numbers and also the GDP numbers, from the fragile 5 economies to the first 5 economies, in last 10 years, India has progressed, I think, practically in every sector. So I think here media has a large role to play, a much bigger role to play. All we need to look at the role of media in India and in the globe as well. And this will be possible only if you make the best use of the technology. We are with you as far as the making of the policies are concerned or hand holding is concerned. We are soon coming out with the various other such policy interventions also for the digital marketing as well. If you look at the last session, we passed the press and registration of periodicals bill and get away with the 1867 bill, where even to get a paper or periodical register, you have to first go to the DM, then to the RNI office, then back to the DM, then back to the RNI office. It used to take at least 1.5 to 2 years to get your periodical or your press or magazine get registered. But today, you can get your periodical or your newspaper registered within 60 days time. So you have to just apply online simultaneously with the RNI and send a copy to the DM. If the DM does not reply within the 60 days, RNI can issue the certificate and the name for your paper or magazine. So you don't have to spend 2 years for to find a paper. दूसरा मैं मीडिया के मित्रों से इतना ही कहूंगा कि एक बार प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने अपने काम से देश को आगे बढ़ाने का काम किया है, तो आप अपनी कलम की ताकत से देश के अच्छे काम को दुनिया में दिखाने का काम भी करें. On one hand, with the policies, programs and the patriotism, how with a good performance we have made a mark at the international level. On the other hand, you can use it with your pen and with your paper to showcase the work of the government and also the country. I have seen when I interact with lot of print media guys or the television guys, they come up with something where they feel a little reluctant when they see this online portals and all that. They come up with lot of queries, suggestions. मैं इस पे इतने कहूँगा जब न्यूज़पेपर थे और टेलीविजन आया था तुमको लगता था पेपर बंद हो जाएंगे. ना पेपर बंद हुए ना टीवी बंद. जब लैंडलाइन फोन था तब लगता था कि मोबाइल फोन आएंगे तो लैंडलाइन बंद हो जाएगा. टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ साथ बहुत कुछ बदलता जाएगा, नए अवसर आते जाएंगे. All we have to do is we have to evolve, upgrade and keep reskilling ourselves and to convert these challenges into the opportunities. Today we see even a small online platform owner or a reporter from a small village report a very important and interesting story which become a breaking news on the TV channels as well. So they are also contributing. So I think technology is going to stay here. Let us make the best use of it. I request all the big media houses present here to associate with the journalism schools and engage more in them. Help in hand-holding of the budding journalism students. It will shape them into a good reporter, responsible journalist, but also they should know the basic ethics of media and use the best practices to be in the field. If you look at the social media today, that also needs good content. And if you engage with these journalism students, I think that can also help to have a lot of stories online. This will also help them to get skilled and also create good content for the online platforms, and India could become the content hub of the world. I would like to request all the intellectuals present here to consider this program with a positive and open mind. Our opinions may differ, but our mind should not. The feeling of Indianness should always be paramount. भारतीयता, राष्ट्रीयता या भारत प्रथम, यही हमारे दिलो दिमाग पे होना चाहिए. देश से बढ़कर कुछ भी नहीं है. And our vision should be to create a dynamic and responsible digital media ecosystem that contributes to the development of Viksit Bharat by 2047. As we embark on this transformative path, I urge the media fraternity to be our partners in progress. Together, let us shape a brighter future of our nation. Thank you once again for inviting me here, and congratulations to all the winners. Thank you, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.